Hi, in this video we are going to talk about how to write answers in interval notation. First, let's do some review. If we wanted to graph x is less than -3, we would go to -3 on your number line, and we would put an open circle on -3. Since we're shading less than -3, we're going to go to the left of -3 for your shading. Another review, if we're graphing x is greater than or equal to 4, put 4 on your number line. Greater than or equal to, we have this equal to symbol. We're going to put a solid dot on the 4, and greater than or equal to 4 means to shade to the right. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen this in other sections before, but this is saying that x is in between -2 and 3. We call this an AND statement. To graph, we're going to have 0 on a number line. -2 is somewhere to the left of 0. 3 is to the right of 0. And we're going to want to shade in between the -2 and the 3. We would put an open circle on -2 because it does not have the equals as part of your symbol. And we would put a solid circle on the 3 because it does have the equals as part of your inequality symbol. Again, that is called an AND statement. This next one, we want the numbers that are less than or equal to -5 or the numbers that are greater than -1. This is part of what's in your compound inequality section. We call this an OR statement. Start by putting your numbers on the number line. And we want the numbers that are less than or equal to -5. So I'm going to put a solid dot on -5 and shade to the left of -5. Or we want the numbers greater than -1. We're going to put an open circle on -1, and greater than means to shade to the right. That's called an OR statement when they go opposite directions like that. So now we're going to change up our graphs a little bit so we can get ready to write our answers in interval notation. Instead of using open circles, we're going to use parentheses. Like either that or that. And instead of closed circles, we're going to use brackets. Which look like this or this. So for this first question, x is less than -3, we're going to want to use parentheses because it does not have the equal symbol. So instead of the open circle, we would put a parentheses on the -3 like this. For the next one, x is greater than or equal to 4, you have that straight equals bar, so you're going to use the straight brackets instead of the closed circle. So put your straight brackets here on the 4. Make those a little bit more straight. Here we have an open circle on -2, which means we really put our parentheses on the -2, and we have a closed circle on 3, so that really means we put a bracket on 3. And for this one, we have a closed circle or solid circle on -5, so we'll put a bracket on -5. We have an open circle on -1 because we don't have the equal bar, so we're going to put a parentheses on -1. Believe it or not, we are very close to being able to write an interval notation. For interval notation, we have to also realize that since this is shaded all the way to the left, it's shaded forever to the left, it's really shaded all the way until negative infinity. So to write an interval notation, this first graph starts on the left here, shaded all the way to negative infinity. So we're going to write negative infinity, comma, it's shaded from negative infinity, it's shaded. Where does it stop being shaded? It stops being shaded at negative 3. So we're going to write negative infinity, comma, negative 3. Since negative 3 has a parentheses on it, we're going to put a parentheses on the negative 3. And infinities always have parentheses. Infinities, parentheses, they sort of rhyme. For this next one to write in interval notation, it's not shaded anywhere here on the left. It starts being shaded at 4. So we're going to start with writing a 4, comma, and how far is it shaded? Well, it starts at 4 and it's shaded forever and ever and ever to the right. It's shaded until you get to positive infinity. 4 has a bracket on it, so we will put a bracket on 4. In infinities, they always have parentheses. Next, you might be noticing a pattern. It starts being shaded at negative 2, comma, it stops being shaded at 3. Negative 2 has a parentheses because it originally had an open circle, so we're going to put a parentheses on the negative 2. 3 has a straight bracket because it originally had the less than or equal to's, which gave you the closed circle, so we're going to put a bracket on the 3. And this last one, this OR statement, well, it's shaded on the left all the way until you get to negative infinity. So we're going to write negative infinity, comma, this first piece stops being shaded at negative 5. Put a bracket on your negative 5, infinities always get parentheses. Then because there's this break in the middle with nothing going on, we're going to put a union symbol between the two intervals. This next interval starts up at negative 1 with the parentheses, and it's shaded all the way until you get to positive infinity. It's a parentheses. So that is a very quick explanation of how to write answers in interval notation. Thanks for watching.